Hello, my name is Isabela Castillo, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and my project. Well, ever since I was a little child, I used to admire my doctor so much that I got excited when I had an appointment. I used to look around the room and watch closely their diplomas. This drove me to want to study medicine and to devise this project along with my partner Mariana. I thought about a lot of projects before Sociedad Inteligente, but what made me realize that this was what I wanted to work on was the number of children in the streets of Santa Marta asking for money or asking to clean the front glass of a car. This has made me sad because they have never asked to live in these conditions, and part of the problem relies on this lack of sexual education of their parents. My goal for this project initially was to change the way a group of women thought about sexuality and overpopulation. But without the workshops, this has been a whole new different journey because I'm not working with women in person, but Mariana and I have tried to bring our knowledge to the people who follow us on Instagram and raise awareness within the society about overpopulation. During the process of building our project, we had to deeply investigate about sexual education. You see, the lack of sex education in vulnerable areas has led to unwanted pregnancy, hunger, abortions, reproductive poverty, disease, and many other consequences that have made a lot of lives harder than they already get. The second thing we had to research on was the proper use of contraceptives. Contraceptives aren't ideal, but they do prevent unwanted pregnancies and are very efficient for the reduction of poverty. If only everyone knew how to use them wisely, overpopulation wouldn't be a problem. Other aspect we had in mind was self-love. How we think of ourselves, determine the reason why we act a certain way. I had to research this topic because usually women think they deserve little, therefore that's what they get. This plays an important role in relationship. This is why we had to research more about love relationships. Trying to discover if it was love what drove women to have sex, or if it was pressure, or if it was only the need of the moment, plays an important role in my research. This research enabled me to figure out the problem, then follow the root causes, and finally find a solution that fitted. We incorporated the solutions to the workshops, aiming that we could raise consciousness within the community. Doing research only empowered me to change the way I thought about society, to think more about others, and to find the real problem, leading me to work hard to avoid the consequences. For you to understand what I'm saying, I'll give you an example. I started researching about overpopulation, but as I investigated, I knew that that was not it. That what comes before the problem was what I had to work on, which is education. According to a journalist in World Economic Forum, when it comes to slowing population growth, more sustainable options include encouraging women to have fewer children and to have them later in life by increasing access to reproductive healthcare services, raising the legal age of marriage and enabling women's active participation in the workforce by, for example, increases access to credit. Our process was long, but I think we did our very best. Initially, our plan was to go to Fundación Los Campanos to teach young women about contraceptives, love's responsibilities of a baby, and overpopulation. We wanted to give them condoms so they had an idea of how to take care of their bodies. We went to Pro Familia, which I believe their contributions was non-existent because they weren't any help, and there was a change of plans. Coronavirus was a setback for this project, but we learned to persist and make Plan B work. With our Instagram, we were able to get to a much bigger audience and give a generalized idea of what we were going to do in the workshops. The obstacles help us grow personally and help the project get to a much bigger audience. Our Instagram posts are the information that was supposed to be given in the workshops, and I find interesting that not just the young girls can receive it. Finally, I feel very successful because success for me is achieving your personal aims and objectives. From the creation of the posts the selections of facts and information, the personal progress and how to research, to the management of an Instagram page was all very fun experience and helped me grow. As for the future seniors, my advice for you is to persist, no matter how the picture looks at the beginning, and to work on their goals, because when you achieve something, especially if it is changing lives with what you're doing, is refreshing and satisfying.